You're raising a prisoner! Background. I've worked a decade in law enforcement as a CCO, a custodial corrections officer in Australia. G'day. I worked in high security prisons, what Americans would refer to as a max security prison. For the most part, I was put on the coalface, meaning the toughest parts of the prison where we had to deal with the largest units and worst offenders. I was known as Redbeard by the Crims, our nickname for the inmates, and I had a reputation for being tough but fair. In the last few years before I retired, we began getting a lot of new types of prisoners, all young, spoiled kids who had never learned the word no. These kids were in prison simply because their parents had let them get away with appalling behavior as a kid and they had never learned better. It might have been cute when they did not get what they wanted as a 3-year-old and threw a tantrum, but it's not so cute when they're 19 and don't get what they want, say sex for example, and act the same way. It was a constant source of frustration that we had to teach these entitled brats the basic manners that their parents should have instilled at the age of 3. So you will understand why this has become something of a personal issue for me. On to the story. So I was in the shops a few weeks ago getting the fortnight's groceries. There are often parents there with their crotch goblins, but the one I encountered this day was in a league of his own. This kid, I'm guessing 6 to 8 years old, was literally tearing up the place, running down the aisles, pulling things off shelves, ramming into people, trying to take things from people's carts, throwing things from shelves, and screaming his little lungs out at the joy of it all. His mother did precisely nothing about this. Other shoppers complained to her, the staff complained to her, nothing. She claimed it was, "Oh, just a phase, he is going through this like all kids." She did not even try to rein him in, nor clean up the mess he made. Then he came for my card. Now, I am a crusty old and rather cranky ex-screw with PTSD. I also have a rather short temper with stupid people, courtesy of my career. The following exchange took place. Kid runs up, grabs my cart, and starts hauling on it. When I pull it away from him, he screams at me, then tries to climb up into it. "No! Get down off the bloody cart and behave yourself!" The kid starts screaming and name-calling. This brings his mother running. Funny how she wasn't interested before now. "Hey, don't you dare talk to my child like that! He doesn't know any better!" "Yes, I can see this dang well he doesn't know any better. You need to teach your kid some basic manners. You obviously don't have children. Actually, I have a son a little older than your own, and my child does not behave like an animal in public. And I will tell you this, if you do not teach your child some self-restraint, then when he hits adulthood, he'll be heading straight for prison, lady. You're raising a prisoner." "What? How dare you tell me how to raise my boy? What the hell would you know? Because I've worked as a prison officer for 10 bloody years, and I have a prison full of bloody entitled little craps like your kid. Now show some fudging maturity and do the right thing by your child, you stupid bitch, or else get ready to only see him during visit time." Yes, I know I lost it there. I was indeed very angry. I admit I was probably out of line, not proud. Sometime during my tirade, the manager had arrived with 2 staff members who had gone to get him when the kid originally started acting up. The entitled parent was flapping her mouth like a fish out of water, trying to find words, and I realized we were standing in a large circle of silent shoppers. I apologized to the manager for making a scene and asked if he wanted me to leave. He said no, but to steer clear of the entitled parent. So I headed off and finished my shopping. From distance, I saw the manager apparently have stern words with entitled parent and make her pay for all the breakages caused by her child. A very sullen and subdued entitled parent then scuttled out of the store. It is a small town, so I have no doubt I will run into the entitled parent again. Sort of looking forward to it. Edit, the title should have read "Your." Sorry, I can't believe I missed that. Honestly, that's just ruined the story, mate, honestly. Nah, that was a good one. Oi, how good was he like shutting her down there? I actually really respect that. And I think this is real. I think this genuinely happened. Good old Redbeard. Our next story was posted by user Dark Matter 1532, titled, Entitled mother wants me to give up my college scholarship to her angel. Cast. You should already know, but I'm gonna add 2 new ones. S is Susan and GK is Good Karen. Well, that's new. So, this all happened several years ago. I was just under a week from graduating high school and had received my scholarship to get into my state's top university. I'm not going to say where for privacy reasons. All you need to know is that I live in the United States. Now, the kid wasn't so much as entitled, he was just a bit slow. That's not to say he was dumb. He was pretty smart in some things whenever he applied himself. It's just, he was just much slower to grasp things than the majority of the class because of his short attention span and lack of analytical capacity. And he barely applied himself. So, come graduation, everyone is waiting for their last names to be called. I don't know how it is for every school, but at the one I attended, we started with the last name starting with Z and moving backwards. The kid's name started with an A, and mine started with C. So, we are watching everyone collect their diplomas and scholarships and shaking hands with the staff, yada yada. When it came time for me to collect, I did the usual, fast forward about 20 minutes to the A section. When K was called, he got his diploma, but didn't receive any scholarships. This did not end well with his mother, who we will call Susan. The next day, really for the last week of high school, we were watching a movie and having a classroom party. You know the kind, with cake, cookies, sodas, occasionally maybe a few pizzas, etc. The best kind. All of a sudden, we hear a knock on the door and the teacher goes to answer. Conversation as follows. Karen says, "Oh, hello." And Susan says, "Hi, I was just wondering, were you in charge of the scholarships that were given out?" "No, ma'am, I was in charge of handing them out, but I was not the one who made the decision of who gets them." "Well, I think you've made a mistake and accidentally skipped over my son." "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I didn't make any mistakes. I handed out the scholarships to all the students they were designated to." "Are you telling me my son is stupid?" Dropping all forms of politeness and starting to sound more entitled, Susan is. "No, ma'am. Your kid is very smart. He just struggled in class and didn't really pay attention." "Well, it's not his fault he has a condition. That's no reason for you to withhold his future." "I understand. It's not entirely his fault, but at the same time, he could have at least made the attempt to pay attention or get help. But since he didn't, he needs to take some responsibility and just accept the fact that he missed out." Susan didn't say another word. The entire class was just watching the conversation unfold, and the kid looked like he wanted to die of embarrassment. I honestly felt bad for him. After what seemed like an eternity, Susan left and we resumed our movie. Now, where does the title take place, you ask? On the way home from school. Now, me and the kid are pretty decent friends, so we sometimes walk home together. I was showing off my scholarship and saying how I was excited about going to my college of choice. The kid was saying how he congratulated me and he'll just have to work hard, extra hard, so he can afford to go. This is when Susan pulls up. "Hey there, Dark Matter, what do you have?" Oh no. "Oh, hi, this is just my scholarship." "Well, I was just wondering, can my kid have it? You don't really need it, do you?" "Mom, please just stop. I don't need nor want the scholarship." "Hush! Mummy is talking." "I'm sorry, but Kay's right. I worked hard for this for the last 4 years. I'm not gonna give it up." "You will give me that certificate!" Again, no. Without warning, Susan snatches the paper from me, almost tearing it, forcing her kid to get in, and they drive off. After a few minutes of shaking off the "what the frick just happened" moment, I looked out my phone and took a picture of her license plates, just in the nick of time. After I get home, I call the police, and within 10 minutes, they were at our house, and I explained what happened, as well as showing the picture of the license plate. Edit, I don't know why I said 10 minutes XD, but I meant to say the next day. I guess I had stuff on my brain for some reason. My bad. The police asked if I wanted to call and I said yes. Within 10 minutes, we were at Susan's house and we knocked on the door. Susan says, "Hi, officers. What seems to be the problem?" "Ma'am, we got a call saying you stole this young man's scholarship." "I'm sorry, you must have the wrong house." "That's a lie. You stole it from me and I would like it back." "With all due respect, ma'am, we will have to search your house." They had search warrants beforehand. The kid, out of nowhere, says, "No need, officers. I have his scholarship right here. Here you go, dark matter." I get my scholarship back and Susan starts throwing a mini fit, shouting, screaming, and saying it's not fair. Officer 1 says, "Ma'am, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to take you in for theft." Susan proceeds to slap the officer, which results in being tackled and handcuffed by Officer 2. "Add assaulting an officer to the charges." Kay and I, watching his mom being dragged off, so I say, "Hey man, sorry about what happened." "No worries, she brought it all on herself." "So, where are you going to stay in the meantime?" "I'll probably have to stay with my uncle for a while." His uncle didn't live too terribly far away, just at the edge of town. "Well, thanks again. I'll see you in class tomorrow, alright? See you tomorrow." And that's the end. You know, it's been several years now, and last I heard from him, about a couple months back, he was working as a manager at a local Starbucks restaurant, and he's doing fairly well. Definitely not as much as you'd like, but well enough to where he doesn't have to worry about bills or debt too often. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Peace. Starbucks is considered a restaurant? I didn't know that. Thought it's just a cafe. Can you guys shine some light on why it's considered a restaurant? Okay, so this story really blew up today for some reason, so I'm guessing it's really good. It's posted by user Oceanic Blue, titled, "Entitled Mum Wants Me Arrested for Assault Because She Tried to Steal My Phone That Has a Cracked Screen, Gets Disproven by Nudes." Oh, here comes the demonetization. This happened earlier today, so it's about as fresh as the glasses of strawberry milk that appear in our fridge every once in a while, and nobody takes responsibility for. So, I was out at the grocery store questioning the amount of mini pizzas that I can get and still be able to fit them in the freezer when I heard rolling behind me. Not a big deal, I turned around and realized my cart was gone. I saw someone pushing a cart down at the end of the aisle. I ran up to them, but unfortunately, they weren't the entitled mother. From this point on, her name will be Carol. I go looking around for my cart, but can't find it because Carol pulled a get out fast. But eventually, security comes up to me and asks me to come to the front of the store with them. I go, and there I find Carol with my cart and her baby sitting in it.
"That man there tried to kidnap my baby." "Sir, what happened between you and Carol?"
I've never met her. The only thing I can think of is that while my back was turned, someone took my card and my drink was in the cup holder. It was still there, had my name on it and everything.
"Can you show your ID?"
I showed the guard my ID, matched up with my appearance and the name on the cup. Security began talking to Carol when I got a text from my husband. It was a meme, nothing important. Carol noticed this, and the fact that my phone screen was cracked. It isn't a big crack, but it's around the middle. Dropped my phone on chopsticks while out to eat.
"That's my phone. He broke it, so I'll cut my finger when I use it. He's trying to hurt me. Arrest him for assault."
I've gotten cuts from cracked screens, but they're really just paper cuts that bleed and don't hurt as much. Legos have drawn more of my blood than cracked screens over my life. Dangerous things. And I only replace cracked screens when I get a new phone, or my husband insists on it. Cracked screens are not that dangerous, and mine certainly is not. Man, this is my phone. It's been broken for months, and it maybe cut me once.
"Prove it!"
So, knowing she'll say that I changed the passcode, I opened my Photos app and gave it to the security guard with a quick warning about the content of some of the photos. He says, "What type of photos do you have on here?"
Pictures of my family and kids.
"Do you have anything that could be considered inappropriate?"
Of course not.
"Then why are there nude photos of OP from months ago on here?"
He put them on there.
"No, these were put on his phone months ago."
That's a lie.
Carol then tries to grab a security guard by the shirt, but she gets restrained. I've given my cart back without her baby, and she gets banned from the store. How do people like that even breathe? Our next story was posted by user Playmore96, titled, "Entitled Mother Wants to Force Me to Take Her Daughter's Last Name." Hello guys, I've got yet another story from the time I dated my ex-girlfriend. It's yet another story that involves her crazy entitled mother. You know, the one who told me to give her my car and kicked me out of the house and threw a glass bottle at me. This one happened about 2 or 3 weeks after we started dating, when my ex wanted me to get to know her mother. Partly because she wanted us to meet, and partly because her mother didn't believe that I actually exist. But now, without further ado, let's get to the cast. EM, entitled mum, my ex-girlfriend's mother. X, my entitled ex-girlfriend. And me, the big idiot who should have ended the relationship right after this story. Well, you didn't see the red flags, did you, buddy? So me and X drove to the house where X and her family lived at the time. We went upstairs. X looked for her mum while I took a seat on the couch. After a couple of minutes, entitled mother entered the living room without X and saw me. She started yelling,
"Who the freak do you think you are, and why are you sitting in my living room?"
Before I could enter, X showed up and explained to entitled mother who I am and why I sit on her couch. Entitled mother's reaction was,
"Oh, so he isn't made up after all."
And X looked very embarrassed while entitled mother walked in front of me and started to inspect me. After that, the following dialogue happens. Entitled mother says,
"I married last week."
"Well, that's nice. Congratulations."
"Do you know why I told you that?"
"No, I didn't. Why did you?"
"Why, I took my husband's last name. My ancestors were aristocrats, part of a very noble society in the old Holy Roman Empire of the German nation."
Basically the middle-aged version of the Germany.
"You have to take my daughter's last name when you marry her, so the name gets carried on."
Me, a little confused and overrun by that statement. "I've been dating your daughter for 3 weeks now. I don't even know if or when I will marry her, and I certainly do not know if I'll take her last name or not."
"So you don't want to marry her? Why are you even here then?"
"Mom, calm down. We've known each other for about a year now, and we just started dating. I don't know if I want to marry him. He doesn't know if he wants to marry me. That's normal."
"You might think that's normal, yeah, but you're dating, so you love each other. I guess that should be enough to get married."
"Oh, like you and Dad? Getting married at 19, having a child, and getting divorced 3 years later? Yeah, I'm sure that's the ideal way."
"Don't you dare use your father against me. You know he's a jerk who isn't capable of raising a child, so I had to leave him."
"I don't know if he's capable of that or not because you don't allow me to meet him." So then my ex looks at me and says, "Come on, let's go. This whole thing was a stupid idea." And entitled mother says while we're leaving,
"Fine, run from your problems. I know your father. It's better for you not to meet him."
Ex shook her head and we left. So, that's the first impression I got from my ex's mother. As always, I'm not a native speaker, so I'm sorry for mistakes, if you find any. Please point them out so I can correct them and learn from them. My ex's family was basically an infinite supply of entitled parent stories, and I'll tell some more of the stories I've lived through as soon as I have the time to write them down. Thanks for reading. Oh, that was a lot. That was a lot. Oh, I enjoyed the stories that I've done today. I hope you guys enjoyed the new kind of voice acting. I'm not sure if I'll do it on every video that I post, but I'll aim to. And as always, tell me what you thought about the video down below, guys. Tell me if you have any suggestions. I'm just gonna keep doing the kind of content that I'm doing now to bring the channel back. Kind of died a bit there. And yeah, love you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.